Good afternoon and welcome back. I'm Marcus Peter. The internet, especially TikTok, has been at the root of one social contagion after another. The Lindsay Clancy case has resulted in some of the most depraved versions of this yet. Across TikTok, thousands of women around the world are posting videos in which they claim that they too could have killed their own children. Hundreds of women have rallied in support outside the courthouse, and in the end, the Clancy tragedy shows how quickly an online community can turn a vicious crime into a shared emotional narrative. Dr. Ann Hendershott joins us with more. Ann is professor of sociology and director of Veritas Center for Ethics in Public Life at Franciscan University of Steubenville, Ohio. She's the author of The Politics of Envy. Ann, it's so great to speak with you again. How are you?
Oh, thank you. I hate to be talking about this sad case, though, but it's pretty horrifying. I mean, the case itself, 3 beautiful children are dead, and these women that are gathered, there's over 300 women now, standing around the courthouse, all wearing pink, making love signs, heart signs with their fingers, and carrying signs that say, "This could be me. I could have done this." It's just unbelievable to me that what is lost in all this are 3 precious children, because we are making the mother into the victim. And I guess that's what bothers me a lot. And I don't want to say that, I know postpartum psychosis is real. If she was psychotic, postpartum depression is real. But the idea that what fascinates me is the imitative behavior and the social contagion that's going on right now. I mean, it isn't just the courthouse. It's an international phenomenon. On TikTok, you have thousands of women posting on TikTok, "This could be me." And I worry about it. What does it say about women?
Yeah.
I'm a woman. I'm not that emotional, I guess, but I'm not unfeeling. I feel deeply for this poor father who lost 3 children, and this poor mother who is obviously tortured and sick. And this isn't helping her, I don't think. It's just helping these women who seem to have this need.
Exactly. Years ago, I came across Emil Durkheim, talking about the sacred and the profane, and this really is a kind of sacralization of this woman who, now the funny thing is this, she herself has admitted that she did this. She's not denying it. But
oh, no.
What I'm seeing, I did very little looking into TikTok because I just can't stand the platform, but the women are coming out saying, no, she's the real victim here. And some are even going so far as to say the husband is probably the real perpetrator. But and in all of these narratives, very little to nothing is being said about the children. Can you talk about how a lot of this, there's a kind of like mimetic conformity going on? These women are trying to create a narrative, a victim narrative for themselves, feeding off of Lindsay Clancy's very painful story.
I know. I'm glad you brought that up, because that is what I study. I have a new book that will be coming out in the spring, The Imitation Effect, and it is about mimetic theory. And my theory is that these are probably some of the same women that were just hanging out at Karen Reed's trial. Now, many of your listeners might not know about Karen Reed, but she was the woman who was charged with killing her boyfriend with her car. And she was convicted, but then she had a retrial and appeal and all that. But these same women, they weren't wearing pink. But I feel like we need some kind of meaning in our lives, and religion isn't doing it for us, I guess. It does it for me, does it for you, but for a lot of people, religion, the institutions like politics and schools, and I don't know, that's not enough for people anymore. So they have to search for meaning, and they're finding it online on TikTok, which is the worst place to look for meaning, and finding it in this kind of social contagion with other women. This whole bonding that's going on. They're carrying baby dolls, and holding them up saying, "I didn't kill this baby, but I could have." I mean, it's crazy. I find it, but I find it fascinating from a theoretical perspective on mimetic theory, and that people choose to bond over things like this. And lost in all this, as you keep saying, are 3 precious children. But this is Massachusetts, and just the week before, we saw the governor there signing into law the abortion, much more permissive abortion up to the moment of birth, and all these women applauding. So I see those women, if they just had pink shirts on, they'd be at the courthouse. We're looking for meaning in all the wrong places.
I don't have an ounce of compassion for the women who are weaponizing victim narratives on TikTok. My bride herself went through postpartum depression and anxiety, which unfortunately I'm realizing is a bit more common as each generation goes by, yeah. But the right kind of support framework, and thankfully she's a woman of deep prayer and faith, and she heavily leaned into her relationship with Christ during those very difficult weeks after having each child. But in each situation, one thing becomes very clear, that this particular contagion is simply not addressing. That this modern narrative, Anne, is treating motherhood as this horrible burden that society imposes upon the woman, and it is an affront to her autonomy and her freedom as a self-actualized woman. I mean, the kind of garbage narratives that are coming out there, as if motherhood is this horrible a burden that's being thrust upon them that they would rather not have to deal with, rather than a vocation, and as is the case with every single vocation, particular crosses and struggles come with them.
Right, and family gives us meaning.
Yeah.
And for these women, they're trying to find meaning outside their families. Many of these women, I think, wearing pink, the 300 or so, they're saying 300, I think they probably, a lot of them don't even have families, but they're looking for meaning somewhere else. Or even the women who do have families may be unhappy with their lives. So that's part of the problem. If you go to TikTok, and I know you try to avoid it, but any of your listeners, and you type in women crying in their cars, you will get thousands of pictures of women, many of them young moms, who are just crying about the crisis in their life of their children and what a burden they are to them and how difficult their life is. You have to get through all the women who are crying in their car because of breakups and whatever. But they all have perfect hair and perfect nails, manicures, and they're crying in their car and filming themselves crying in their car. It's a big trope on TikTok. I don't understand it. I find it hilarious, actually. I have my students go to it just so that they can see what I'm talking about. I don't need to make fun of them. But how can you not make fun of that?
Yeah.
One of them, I went today, my boyfriend just broke up with me, and she's crying, telling us about her boyfriend who broke up with her. Now, if you're really sad, why would you turn on a camera and show the world, if you're really sad?
I completely agree with you, Anne. I think therein lies a crucial component that very few people are addressing here, that so much of this is performative and therefore simply lacking in genuineness.
I'm so glad you said performative, because I hate to say that, but it is.
Oh, it is.
I'm not saying they're not sad, but it's their performance sad. They're sad for us. Mm-hmm. How many clicks am I going to get for this breakup? That's crazy.
Well, but that's precisely it. Anything to get ahead of the clicks and the algorithm. And so in this whole victimhood as meaning narrative, like you said, it's not that religion and these formal social institutions don't provide meaning. It's that I've come to realize more and more the meaning that is provided by meaningful relationships and religion is not self-serving enough. It forces you to go out of yourself. And what is amplified on social media algorithms is a tremendously self-serving form of attention and therefore a form of meaning.
Absolutely. And you put it so well. Thank you. I couldn't have said that better, and I wish I had said that in my book, but it's done. But it is true. You have to look outside yourself in relationships. You have to look to God in religion to find meaning. You're not just going to have it said to you.
And I know you and I could go on for a long time, but I'm very grateful that you penned this article and you're actually weighing in on this issue. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you for having me. Bye.
My guest has been Dr. Ann Hendershott. We've been talking about Lindsay Clancy and the social media contagion that it has generated, her case has generated, and the performative sadness, if you will, and the performative victimhood that we're seeing on TikTok. Pray for the souls of the children more than anything. I'm Marcus Peter.